The campus of Willowbrook University sprawled like a postcard under the crisp autumn sky, its red brick buildings draped in ivy that glowed golden in the late afternoon sun. For Aisha Khan, a second-year computer science major, it was supposed to be a place of endless possibility. At 19, she had fought tooth and nail to secure her spot here. Top grades from a modest girls' college in Lahore, a scholarship that covered tuition but left her scraping by on part-time tutoring gigs. Her parents back home beamed with pride during their weekly video calls, her mother fussing over whether she was eating enough dal and roti in the dorm cafeteria. "Beta, focus on studies," her father would say, his voice crackling over the spotty connection. "This is your ticket to a better life." Aisha's days blurred into a rhythm of lectures, code debugging sessions in the library, and late-night chai runs with her roommate, Sana. She wasn't the partying type. Her idea of fun was acing a programming assignment or joining the debate club, where she could argue passionately about AI ethics without stuttering. With her hijab neatly pinned and glasses perched on her nose, she blended into the sea of ambitious students, until she didn't want to. It started innocently enough on a Thursday evening in mid-October. The air carried the faint chill of approaching winter, and the quad buzzed with students heading to weekend plans. Aisha had just finished a grueling algorithms class, her backpack heavy with textbooks. As she crossed the leaf-strewn path toward her dorm, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Professor Rahman, the head of the CS department, a man in his 40s with a reputation for being brilliant but demanding. He'd been her advisor since freshman year, praising her projects and even recommending her for a summer internship. "Aisha, can you stop by my office? Need to discuss your midterm project. Urgent." She hesitated, glancing at the time, 6:45 p.m. The building would be mostly empty by now, but professors often worked late. It wasn't unusual. She'd been there before during office hours. Besides, this project was her baby, a machine learning model for predicting crop yields, inspired by the farms back in her village. A good review could mean extra credit, maybe even a letter of recommendation. "Sure, sir. On my way," she typed back, her thumbs flying over the screen. The CS building loomed at the edge of campus, its fluorescent lights flickering on as dusk settled. Aisha pushed through the glass doors, the echo of her sneakers the only sound in the hallway. Most classrooms were dark, doors locked. She climbed the stairs to the third floor, her heart picking up pace, not from fear, but from the anticipation of feedback. Professor Rahman's door was ajar, a warm glow spilling out. "Assalamu alaikum, sir," she said softly, knocking lightly before entering. He looked up from his desk, cluttered with papers and a glowing laptop. His smile was wide, almost too wide, revealing teeth that seemed sharper in the lamplight. "Wa alaikum assalam, Aisha. Come in, sit." He gestured to the chair opposite him, his voice smooth as ever. No one else was around. His TA had left hours ago, he mentioned casually. They dove into the project. He leaned over her laptop, pointing out flaws in her code, valid ones, she admitted inwardly. But as the minutes ticked by, his comments shifted. "You're so dedicated," he said, his hand brushing her shoulder as he reached for the mouse. "Not like the others who just coast." She shifted uncomfortably, but smiled politely. Cultural norms drilled into her, respect elders, especially teachers. The conversation veered. "You know, Aisha, talent like yours needs nurturing. Outside class." His eyes lingered a second too long. She felt a prickle on her skin, like static electricity. "Sir, about the algorithm." Suddenly, he stood, closing the laptop. "Let's take a break. You look tense." Before she could protest, he was behind her, his hands on her shoulders, kneading firmly. "Relax, Beta. This helps with stress." Her body froze. This wasn't right. "Sir, please, I should go." She tried to stand, but his grip tightened, pushing her back down. The room spun. His breath was hot on her neck. "Don't be shy. I see how you look at me in class." Panic surged. She wasn't looking at anyone. "No, sir, stop." She twisted, but he was stronger, his body pinning her against the desk. Papers scattered. His hand clamped over her mouth as she screamed into it, muffled and useless. The world narrowed to the scrape of his beard, the weight crushing her, the violation that shattered everything in seconds. It ended as abruptly as it began, or so it felt in the haze. He straightened his shirt, breathing heavy. This stays between us. Your future depends on it. A threat wrapped in a smile. Aisha stumbled out, legs numb, hijab askew. The hallway blurred through tears. She didn't remember the walk to her dorm, only collapsing onto her bed as Sana slept soundly across the room. The clock read 8:12 p.m. Her body ached, but the real pain was deeper, a chasm opening inside her. She showered until the water ran cold, scrubbing until her skin raw. But the stain wouldn't wash away. Lying in the dark, she stared at the ceiling, questions swirling. Tell someone? Who would believe a student's word over a professor's? Report it and risk her scholarship, her family's honor? Or bury it, pretend it never happened, and let the monster walk free? By morning, the campus looked the same. Students laughing, leaves falling. But for Aisha, everything had cracked. She skipped class, feigning illness. In the mirror, her eyes were hollow. The weight of silence pressed down, heavy as the secrets she now carried. Aisha didn't leave her dorm for 3 days. Sana knocked, texted, left trays of cafeteria biryani outside the door that went cold and untouched. Flu? She asked through the crack when Aisha finally opened it on Sunday night. Aisha nodded, throat raw from silent crying. Sana's eyes lingered on the bruise blooming beneath the sleeve of her hoodie, but she only said, "I'll tell the RA you need an extension on the algorithm's midterm." The door shut again. Click. Cluck. Safe. Safe was a lie. She kept the lights off, curtains drawn. Her phone buzzed with reminders. CS 301. Project demo tomorrow 2 p.m. The words blurred. She pictured Professor Rahman's office, the way the overhead fluorescents had buzzed like trapped insects while he... No. She rolled onto her side, knees to chest, and tried to breathe through the memory the way the online forum said, "Name 5 things you can see, for you can touch." But every object in the room betrayed her. The desk lamp, same brand as his. The chair, same cracked vinyl. Even her own body felt borrowed, contaminated. On the 4th morning, she forced herself upright. The mirror showed a stranger, sunken cheeks, hijab abandoned on the floor like shed skin. She pinned it back with shaking fingers. If you skip the demo, he wins. She typed an email to the department secretary. Family emergency, submitting slides remotely. Attached the file she'd finished 2 weeks ago, before everything tilted. Sent. The whoosh sound felt like surrender. Her inbox pinged immediately. From m.rahman@willowbrook.edu. Subject, Project Demo. Aisha. Disappointing. I expected more commitment. See me tomorrow 4 p.m. to discuss alternatives. Mr. Alternatives. The word sat in her stomach like spoiled milk. She deleted the email, emptied the trash, then powered the phone off entirely. The silence that followed was worse. In it, she could hear his breathing again, the rasp against her ear. That afternoon she walked to the library, not the main one near the CS building, but the old humanities annex nobody used after 5 p.m. She needed distance, needed books that smelled of dust instead of whiteboard markers. She took the long route behind the gym, hood up, eyes scanning every shadow. A group of lacrosse guys horsed around near the vending machines. One laughed too loud and she flinched so hard her backpack strap snapped. She left it dangling. Inside the annex, the librarian barely glanced up. Aisha climbed to the 3rd floor mezzanine, chose a Corel facing the wall, and opened her laptop. Muscle memory typed, "Sexual assault reporting Willowbrook," before her brain caught up. The official page loaded. Title IX Office, 2nd floor, Administration Building. Walk-ins welcome 9 to 4 Monday to Friday. Below it, a PDF flowchart. Did the assault occur on campus? Was the perpetrator a university employee? File within 180 days. 180 days. She had 176 left. The number felt both infinite and already expired. She clicked the anonymous reporting link. A form. Name optional. She typed Jane Doe, then deleted it, typed AK, deleted again. Her cursor hovered. If she submitted, an investigator would call. They'd want details. Timelines. Witnesses. There were none. Just her word against his tenure, his grants, his smiling LinkedIn headshot with a caption mentoring the next generation of coders. She closed the tab. Footsteps on the metal stairs. A janitor's cart rattled. She slammed the laptop shut, heart jackhammering. When the footsteps faded, she reopened it and searched instead for therapists off campus. Sliding scale clinics, South Asian counselors, anyone who wouldn't phone her parents. She bookmarked 3, then deleted the history anyway. Back in the dorm, Sana was gone. Study group. A post-it on the mini fridge read, "Eat something." Aisha peeled it off, crumpled it, then smoothed it out again. She opened the fridge. Leftover pizza, someone's labeled yogurt, a single banana turning brown. Nothing looked edible. She took the banana, sat on the floor, and peeled it with her teeth because her fingers wouldn't stop trembling. At 2:17 a.m. her phone vibrated on the charger. Unknown number. She let it ring out. Voicemail. She pressed play on speaker, volume low. Aisha, it's Professor Rahman. His voice, calm, almost kind. I'm concerned. You missed the demo. Let's not let one bad day derail your progress. My office, tomorrow. Or we can meet somewhere more comfortable. Coffee. Your call. The message ended. She replayed it twice, searching for threat beneath the syrupy tone, then deleted it, blocked the number, unblocked it, blocked it again. Sleep never came. By Wednesday she was a ghost in her own classes. Back row, headphones in, camera off for the Zoom sections. She muted herself the second Rahman appeared on screen, his pointer tracing code she'd once found beautiful. When he called on Khan, Aisha, she typed in chat, connection issue, BRB. She never returned. Sana cornered her that night. You're scaring me. Talk. Aisha opened her mouth. The words stuck. Shame, fear, the math of who would believe an international student over a department chair. Instead she said, midterms. I'm drowning. Sana studied her, eyes soft. Okay. But I'm here when you're ready. Later, alone, Aisha printed the Title IX form on the dorm printer. She filled it out in pencil first, erasing and rewriting until the paper tore. Name, Aisha Khan. Incident date, October 17th, 2025. Location, CS Building, Room 312. Perpetrator, Professor Mustafa Rahman. She stared at the box labeled narrative. The cursor blinked. She typed one sentence. He said my future depended on it. Then highlighted, deleted, closed the document without saving. Outside, rain started, drumming the window like impatient fingers. She curled on her bed fully clothed, shoes still on, and watched the storm blur the campus lights into watercolor streaks. Somewhere across the quad, Rahman was probably grading papers, sipping chai, untouched. The unfairness of it burned hotter than shame. Her phone buzzed again. Sana, downstairs with hot paratha from the Pakistani Students Association potluck. Aisha ignored it. She opened a new email, address line blank, and began typing to the Title IX coordinator. Subject, formal complaint. She got as far as Dear Ms. Patel, before the screen went black, battery dead. She didn't plug it in. Instead she whispered into the dark, testing the words for the first time. I was raped. They tasted like rust. But they were hers. Part 3. The report. The Title IX office was on the second floor of the administration building, a place Aisha had only ever visited to submit visa paperwork. Now the corridor felt narrower, the fluorescent lights harsher. She stood outside the frosted glass door for a full minute, hand raised to knock, before Priya, the advocate from the support group, appeared at her elbow. Breathe, Priya whispered. You're not late. You're here. Aisha knocked. Ms. Patel greeted her with a handshake that was firm but not crushing. The office was small, window overlooking the quad where students tossed frisbees in the weak November sun. Aisha sat, backpack between her feet like a shield. Priya took the chair beside her, notebook open, pen uncapped. Start wherever you need, Ms. Patel said. Nothing you say leaves this room without your consent. Aisha's mouth went dry. She had rehearsed this in the shower, in the dark, in the mirror until the words felt like someone else's. Now they tangled. She pulled out her phone, opened the Notes app, and slid it across the desk. A bullet list, date, time, location, bruises, voicemail. Ms. Patel read without expression, then looked up. This is detailed. Thank you. They recorded the formal intake. Aisha spoke in fragments at first. His office, after 7, the way he locked the door, then in a rush, as if the story might evaporate if she paused. When she reached the part about the desk, her voice cracked. Priya passed a tissue. Aisha waved it away. She wasn't crying. Not here. Ms. Patel asked clarifying questions, gentle but precise. Did anyone see you enter or leave the building? The janitor. He said, "Good evening. Name? Mr. Lopez. Third shift." Priya jotted it down. They discussed options. Informal resolution, mediation, Rahman agrees to apologize and retire. Formal investigation. Hearing, possible sanctions up to termination. Criminal report, campus police, then local PD. Aisha's pulse hammered. If I go formal, will my parents find out? Only if you tell them. FERPA protects your records. And my scholarship. Title IX overrides academic probation. You're safe. Safe. The word felt borrowed. She chose formal. Ms. Patel printed the complaint form. Aisha signed with a pen that skipped, leaving a tiny scar on the paper. Date, November 8, 2025. Walking out, the frisbees still spun. Aisha's legs carried her to the library annex, the same corral where she'd once searched for therapists. She opened her laptop, stared at the blank email draft to her parents, and closed it. Not yet. That night, the no-contact order arrived. Rahman was barred from her classes, her inbox, her path. Violation meant suspension. She read it twice, then forwarded it to Sanaa with no comment. Sanaa replied with a single emoji, Sheil. The investigation began immediately. Day 1. Ms. Patel interviewed Mr. Lopez. He remembered Aisha, quiet girl, always polite, looked upset leaving. Day 3. They pulled building keycard logs. Rahman's card, 6:42 p.m. entry, 8:19 p.m. exit. Aisha's, 6:51 p.m. entry, 8:07 p.m. exit. Day 5. The voicemail was authenticated. Rahman claimed it was misinterpreted mentorship. Aisha's bruises were photographed, documented, time-stamped. She stood in the campus clinic in a paper gown, arms extended, while a nurse clicked a camera. The flash felt like interrogation. Afterward, she vomited in the restroom, then washed her face and went to class. Rumors started. Heard Rahman's on leave. Some foreign student accused him. Probably failed a midterm. Sanaa shut them down in the dining hall, voice sharp, "Mind your plate." Aisha pretended not to hear, but the words lodged like splinters. Counseling intensified. Dr. Singh introduced EMDR, eye movement desensitization. Aisha followed the therapist's finger left right while replaying the office in her mind. The memory didn't vanish, but it shrank, like a window minimized. One afternoon, Priya brought coffee and news. Rahman's requesting your academic records. We're fighting it. Aisha stirred sugar she didn't taste. He'll say I was failing. You had a 3.8. Facts don't care about his narrative. Thanksgiving break loomed. Aisha booked a flight home, then canceled it. She wasn't ready for her mother's questions, her father's silence. Instead, she stayed in Maple Hall with Sanaa and 3 other survivors who'd nowhere else to go. They ordered pizza, watched Bollywood movies with the sound off, subtitles on. When the clock hit midnight, Sanaa raised her soda can. To choosing us. December brought the first snow. Aisha walked to the Title IX office for the preliminary report. Ms. Patel laid it out. Credible evidence of policy violation. Recommend full hearing. Rahman had until December 10th to respond. That night, Aisha finally called her parents. Her mother picked up on the first ring. Beta. You sound far. I have to tell you something. The line crackled. She started with the assault, ended with the hearing. Her mother cried softly. Her father took the phone. We're proud you spoke. Whatever you need, money, tickets, dua, we're here. Aisha exhaled. Just don't come yet. Let me finish this. She hung up, opened her laptop, and began drafting her impact statement. The cursor blinked. She typed. On October 17th, I walked into an office trusting the system. I walked out carrying its failure. This is what surviving looks like. She saved the document as truth.docs. Outside, snow muffled the campus. Aisha stepped into it, boots crunching, breath fogging. The quad was empty, lights glowing soft through the flakes. She tilted her face up, let the cold sting her cheeks. The hearing was set for December 12th. She had 4 days to prepare, a lifetime to survive. She whispered into the dark, testing the words again. I was raped. This time, they didn't taste like rust. They tasted like evidence. The Title IX office smelled of burnt coffee and lemon polish. Aisha sat on the edge of a stiff chair, clutching a paper cup that had gone cold 20 minutes ago. Ms. Patel, the coordinator, closed the door with a soft click that sounded final. No posters of smiling students here, just a whiteboard scrawled with acronyms. FERPA, VAWA, CLARI. The air felt thick, official. Take your time, Ms. Patel said. Her voice was gentle but practiced, like someone who'd heard every variation of this story. She slid a box of tissues closer without looking. Aisha didn't touch them. She started with the email chain, printed, highlighted, dated. Then the voicemail transcript she'd typed at 3 a.m. when sleep wouldn't come. Ms. Patel nodded, fingers flying over a legal pad. When Aisha reached the part about the office, the desk, the way his hand had covered her mouth, her voice cracked. She expected pity. Instead, Ms. Patel asked, Did you scream? Even muffled. Yes. Good. That's evidence of non-consent. The clinical phrasing jolted her. Good. As if volume could be measured in court. They took her formal statement over 2 hours. Every detail, timestamps from her phone's location history, the janitor who'd waved at her in the lobby at 6:52 p.m., the bruise shaped like fingerprints that had faded to yellow but still photographed under the desk lamp. Aisha's cheeks burned when the advocate, a grad student named Priya, asked to document the marks on her upper arms. She rolled up her sleeves without meeting anyone's eyes. You're not required to pursue a criminal report, Ms. Patel explained, but we can facilitate a safety transfer out of his classes and a no-contact order while we investigate. Interim measures start today. Aisha exhaled, a sound she hadn't known she was holding. He said my scholarship. Scholarships are need-based, not performance in one class. We'll loop in financial aid. Walking out, the hallway felt wider. Priya handed her a card, Willowbrook Survivor Advocacy, 24/7 text line. The paper was thick, expensive. Someone had fought for that budget. That night she moved dorms. Sana helped pack in silence, only asking once, Is it him? Aisha nodded. Sana's jaw tightened. She zipped the duffel with unnecessary force. The new room was a single on the 4th floor of Maple Hall, window facing the tennis courts. No shared bathroom. A deadbolt she could lock from inside. The RA, a soft-spoken senior named Marcus, taped a rainbow sticker over the peephole. For privacy, he said. She almost cried. The no-contact order arrived by email at 8:03 a.m. Subject line, Interim Directive, Mustafa Rahman. She read it 3 times. He was barred from her classes, her dorm, her email. Violation meant immediate suspension. The words looked fragile on the screen, but they were university letterhead, CC'd to the dean. Power, in black and white. Classes resumed Monday. She wore noise-canceling headphones, sat in the back, camera off. In data structures, the TA, a nervous PhD candidate, announced Professor Rahman was on leave effective immediately. Whispers rippled. Aisha kept her eyes on her notebook, sketching binary trees until her pen tore the paper. The investigation moved faster than she expected. Detectives came to Maple Hall on a Wednesday evening, plain clothes, badges in wallets. They asked if she wanted her parents informed. She said no. They didn't push. Instead, they took her clothes from that night, still sealed in the plastic bag she'd hidden in her laundry basket. Chain of custody, one explained. She signed forms in triplicate. Sana became her shadow. She walked Aisha to the dining hall, sat outside the counseling center, texted you good? Every hour on the hour. When Aisha finally told her parents, over WhatsApp, voice only, tears choking the story, her mother wailed so loudly the phone speaker crackled. Her father went quiet, then said, "We're booking tickets." She begged them to wait. Let the university finish first. They agreed, reluctantly. Her mother sent daily voice notes, Quranic verses, recipes for sheer kurma, reminders to drink milk. Normalcy, weaponized. Counseling was twice a week. Dr. Singh's office had plants and a white noise machine. The first session, Aisha sat rigid. "I keep replaying it, looking for what I did wrong." Dr. Singh leaned forward. The only choice that mattered was his. "You survived. That's the data point we start with." Surviving felt like treading water in a riptide. Mid-November, the Title IX report landed in her inbox. Preliminary findings. Sufficient evidence to proceed to hearing. Rahman had lawyered up. His attorney requested her academic records, her visa status, screenshots of every email she'd ever sent him. The university denied most of it. Still, the scrutiny itched under her skin. She joined a support group in the basement of the chapel. 6 women, 1 non-binary sophomore, folding chairs in a circle. They passed a tin of biscuits like communion. A senior named Lila spoke first. Same professor, 2 years earlier. Case dismissed for insufficient corroboration. Aisha's stomach dropped. Lila met her eyes. "They're stricter now. You're not me." The night before Thanksgiving break, Priya texted. "Hearing scheduled December 12th. You choose, open or closed." Aisha stared at the ceiling. Open meant facing him. Closed meant rumors would metastasize. She typed back, "Closed." Then added, "But I want to read my statement." She practiced in the mirror, voice shaking. "I trusted the system to protect me. He used it to isolate me." The words grew steadier each time. She recorded herself on her phone, played it back until the tremor flattened into steel. On December 1st, an email from the dean. "Professor Rahman has resigned, effective immediately, in lieu of disciplinary proceedings. No admission of guilt, a non-disclosure agreement, a quiet exit." The campus listserv buzzed. "Budget cuts," they said. Aisha forwarded it to Ms. Patel with a single line. "Is this justice?" Ms. Patel called. "It's survival for the university. For you, we can still pursue sanctions, loss of emeritus, reference checks flagged. And you can file civilly." Aisha closed her eyes. "I just want to finish my degree without seeing his name on a syllabus." Done. Winter break came. She flew home to Lahore, 23 hours of recycled air and turbulence. Her mother met her at arrivals, eyes puffy, arms open. No questions in the car, just Fairuz on the radio. At home, her father had replaced the living room sofa, said the old one sagged. Aisha sank into the new cushions and slept for 14 hours. On New Year's Eve, she opened her laptop. An email from the CS department. Spring advising reassigned to Professor Chen. Another, anonymous donor has established the AK Survivor Scholarship. Full tuition, renewable. She stared until the screen dimmed. Someone had turned her nightmare into momentum. Back on campus in January, the snow muffled everything. She walked to her first class, Algorithms 2, without headphones. The classroom smelled of dry erase markers and possibility. Professor Chen waved her over after lecture. "Your crop yield model? I'd like to co-author a paper. If you're ready." Aisha smiled, small but real. "I'm ready." That night she deleted the plastic bag from her closet, the one that had held her clothes like evidence. She burned it in the dorm's communal sink, the smoke alarm disabled with a shower cap. The ashes swirled down the drain. She still flinched at sudden noises. Still checked locks twice. But the chasm inside her had edges now, places to grip. She scheduled an extra session with Dr. Singh, Joy. Spring arrived in patches, mud between the dorm bricks, crocuses punching through the quad like stubborn code. Aisha's new normal had edges. 8 a.m. lectures, therapy at 3, gym at 6 where she learned to punch a bag until her knuckles sang. She kept the scholarship letter folded in her wallet. A talisman against the day's doubt crept in. The AK Survivor Scholarship. Someone had named it after her initials without asking. It felt like being branded and buoyed at once. March brought the civil suit. Priya connected her with a Lahore-trained attorney, Ms. Qureshi, who did pro bono for South Asian students. They met over Zoom, Ms. Qureshi in a crisp white kurta, Aisha in Maple Hall with Sanaa's diffuser pumping lavender to mask the dining hall curry smell. Willowbrook's settlement with Rahman included a gag order, Ms. Qureshi said, sliding documents across the screen. But it doesn't bind you. We can sue for damages, emotional distress, lost academic opportunity. Aisha traced the bruise scar on her wrist, faded to a silver comma. I don't want his money. You want accountability, Ms. Qureshi corrected. Money is how institutions learn pain. They filed in federal court. Rahman's lawyers countersued for defamation. Headlines bloomed. Disgraced professor claims vendetta by disgruntled student. Campus Reddit exploded. Aisha disabled notifications, but screenshots still reached her. Her freshman ID photo circled in red, captioned International Scholarship Scam. Sanaa printed them, redacted the worst slurs with a Sharpie, and taped them to the wall like war maps. Evidence of harassment, she declared. For the lawyer. The support group became War Room. Lila, now graduated, drove back with case law printouts. They role-played depositions in the chapel basement, passing the biscuit tin like a talking stick. When Aisha stumbled over describing the assault, Priya timed her, breathe at the commas. You're testifying, not confessing. April 14th, the deposition. A courthouse in Boston because Rahman had fled to a sister campus in Rhode Island. Aisha wore the navy blazer her mother overnight from Lahore, hijab pinned with a silver clip her grandmother gave her for Eid. The courtroom smelled of bleach and old wood. Rahman sat opposite, thinner, tie askew. He wouldn't meet her eyes. His attorney, a woman with a voice like cracked ice, started soft. Ms. Khan, isn't it true you asked Professor Rahman for a recommendation letter the week prior? Yes. And when he suggested revisions to your code, you became upset? I welcomed feedback. I didn't welcome rape. The stenographer's fingers flew. Rahman flinched. The word hung in the air like smoke. They played the voicemail. His voice, tinny through the speaker, somewhere more comfortable. Aisha watched the jury, 3 students, 2 faculty, 1 administrator, shift in their seats. When her turn came, she read her impact statement without notes. I used to dream in Python. Now I wake up debugging nightmares. You took my sanctuary and made it a crime scene. I'm here so the next girl walks into office hours without calculating escape routes. Cross-examination lasted 3 hours. They asked about her clothes, jeans, hoodie, her grades, a minus in his class before the assault, her text history, 1 emoji to a male classmate, twisted into flirtation. Ms. Qureshi objected, sustained, objected again. Aisha's throat raw, but her voice steady. When they recessed, Lila squeezed her hand. You just rewrote the narrative. Settlement talks began in May. Rahman's side offered $75,000 and a public apology. Ms. Qureshi countered, $250,000, apology on the university website, mandatory consent training for all faculty. They settled at $180,000, apology redacted to regret for any distress caused. Aisha signed. The money funded the scholarship's 2nd year and a plane ticket home for summer. Finals week, she aced algorithms too. Professor Chen's feedback. Asterisk publishable work. Submit to NUR-IPS. Asterisk she laughed, actually laughed, walking across the quad with Sanaa, ice chai sloshing. The sound startled a squirrel. But echoes lingered. A junior in her study group whispered, my friend said you made it up for attention. Aisha felt the old freeze, then the thaw. She opened her laptop, pulled up the settlement PDF, and turned the screen. Read page 7, paragraph 4. Then we can talk. The girl went pale, apologized, never sat near her again. Progress, messy. June, she flew home. Lahore in monsoon prep, humid, chaotic, alive. Her mother cooked nihari for 3 days straight. Her father showed her the new gate he'd installed, iron bars painted green. No one climbs this, he said. She hugged him until he patted her back awkwardly. One night, power cut. They sat on the roof with candles, city lights flickering below. Her mother asked, will you quit coding? Aisha watched a kite tangled in power lines. No. He doesn't get to delete my future. Her mother nodded, eyes wet. Then we upgrade the antivirus. Back at Willowbrook for senior year, the CS building had a new plaque by the entrance. Asterisk in solidarity with survivors. Report. Support. Believe. Asterisk someone had sharpened Aisha was here beneath it. She didn't erase it. She mentored 3 first years, 2 Pakistani, 1 Somali, all on scholarships. Tuesdays, they met in the library annex where she'd once hidden. She taught them Git commits and how to say no without apologizing. When one asked about office hours safety, Aisha slid over a printed card, Title 9, 24/7 line, Priya's extension. Fall brought the Nur IPS acceptance. Her crop yield model, now open source, had 3,000 GitHub stars. Professor Chen co-authored, but the keynote invite was hers alone. She practiced in the mirror, hijab swapped for a blazer, voice filling the room. The night before the conference, she got a LinkedIn message. Rahman, new profile pic at some obscure college in the Midwest. Asterisk, congratulations. Proud of what you've become. Asterisk, she stared, thumb hovering, then blocked him. Some doors you don't reopen. On stage in Vancouver, lights hot, she clicked to her final slide, a photo of her village fields, green and endless. This model started as homework, she said. It became survival. Code doesn't care what you've endured, it only asks if you can compile. So to every survivor in the back row, your bugs are features. Keep pushing. The applause was thunder. In the front row, Sana hooped, phone flashlight waving. Aisha smiled until her cheeks hurt. After, a girl approached, hijab, shaking hands, Nigerian accent. I'm reporting my TA tomorrow. Your talk. I think I can. Aisha handed her Priya's card. Text me after. Chai on me. Walking back to the hotel, snow starting to fall, she realized the chasm hadn't closed. It had become a canyon she could bridge, 1 line of code, 1 mentee, 1 boundary at a time. Her phone buzzed. Sana, proud of you, sis. She typed back, we're just getting started. In her pocket, the scholarship letter crinkled. She didn't need to check it anymore. The future was compiling, clean and error-free. 2 years later, the Lahore airport smelled of diesel and cardamom tea. Aisha stepped off the red-eye from San Francisco, blazer rumpled, laptop bag cutting into her shoulder. The Nur IPS keynote had turned into a TED Talk, then a UN panel on AI for sustainable agriculture. Her crop yield model now ran on satellites over Punjab, feeding data to farmers who texted her photos of greener fields. She still answered every one. Customs waved her through. The officer recognized her from Dawn newspaper. Welcome home, Beta. She smiled, tired but automatic. Home was layered now. Maple Hall single, Lahore rooftop, conference green rooms. She carried all of them in her stride. Her mother waited beyond arrivals, dupatta fluttering like a flag. No tears this time, just a fierce hug that smelled of rose attar and home-cooked gajar halwa. Her father stood behind, holding a sign, Dr. Aisha Khan, Ph.D. She defended her thesis remotely 6 weeks ago, Ethical AI Deployment in Post-Conflict Zones, while Sana live-streamed from the Willowbrook Quad, hijab pins glinting in the sun. The drive home cut through new flyovers and old bazaars. Billboards flashed her face next to a UNDP logo, Code to Feed 2030. She looked away, imposter syndrome still whispered at 3 a.m. Her mother squeezed her knee. Your cha-cha wants to name his buffalo after you. Aisha laughed until her ribs hurt. The house had changed. Her childhood bedroom was now an office, whiteboards, dual monitors, a framed photo from the support group's last meeting. Lila had sent it, 7 women, arms linked, biscuit tin raised like champagne. On the wall, a printout of the federal settlement check, framed not for the amount but for the line in recognition of courage. Evening brought guests. Cousins, aunties, the neighbor who once tutored her in calculus. They ate biryani off paper plates, asked careful questions about America. When someone mentioned, that professor, her father's voice cut clean, we don't speak his name here. The room quieted, then filled again with laughter about wedding season. Boundaries, respected. Later, on the roof, monsoon clouds stacked like code blocks. Aisha opened her laptop. An email from Priya, now Title IX director, attached Willowbrook's new policy. mandatory bystander training, anonymous reporting app, survivor-led curriculum. Page 3 carried a dedication, in gratitude to AK, who taught us that silence is a bug, not a feature. And so on. She closed the lid. Below, the city pulsed, rickshaw horns, azan from the corner mosque, a dog barking at fireworks. Normal sounds, no longer triggers. Therapy had done its work, so had time and choice. Her phone buzzed. Sana, voice note, girl, your GitHub just hit 50k stars. Also, the Somali mentee you sponsored. She's interning at Google. You coming to iftar tomorrow? Aisha typed, wouldn't miss it. Bring paratha. She stood, stretched, felt the ache of jet lag settle into her bones like an old friend. In her pocket, the silver hijab pin caught the moonlight. She unpinned it, turned it over. Engraved on the back, tiny letters she'd added last year, compile justice. Downstairs, her mother called up, Beta, hell was getting cold. Coming, Ami. She slipped the pin into her blazer, grabbed her laptop, and descended the stairs 2 at a time. The house smelled of ghee and possibility. Tomorrow she'd debug a new module for flood prediction. Tonight, she'd eat dessert first. In the kitchen, her father ladled halwa into a bowl, extra almonds on top. For energy, he said. She took it, steam curling like uncommented code. As she ate, her phone lit up again. A text from the Nigerian girl, now a junior at Willowbrook, reported my TA. Hearing next week. Your card's on my wall. Aisha smiled, thumb hovering, then replied, you've got this. Text after. Chai on me. She set the phone face down. The halwa was perfect, sweet, warm, finite. Outside, the first raindrop hit the window, then another. Monsoon compiling. She was exactly where the story needed to end, not unbroken, but recompiled, stronger at the seams, running without errors, open source for whoever needed the code next.